Hi guys, BassMaster Elite Series Pro Caleb Kuphall. Today we're just doing some fishing out here. We're on Lake Geneva today, and today I want to talk to you about breaking down a body of water and how I go about finding fish on a body of water you've never been to before. So pretty much how I start looking for, say you go to a place that you've never been to before and you really don't know where to start, what to fish, how to fish it, what kind of cover. And basically what I like to start with is just gathering as much information as I possibly can. I use Google Earth a lot. I look at that for not so much obviously depth contours, but looking at shoreline structure, what points and stuff like that, bays, coves, spawning flats, just stuff like that might give me an idea where to start. I do look at a lot of paper maps as well. There's a lot of resources out there that way. And then I also use a lot of YouTube stuff to just try and get an idea of what the lake looks like as far as techniques and maybe tournaments that have been won somewhere in the past, or just something, information that you can gain when you're trying to break down a body of water for the first time. So when you're using Google Maps, I look for more, not so much areas even to fish, but areas you can discount, whether it's, a really, really shallow bay that's just weed choked and stuff like that you can just, completely wipe off. But I use it more for, just looking at the satellite overlay on the lake, and just to show me where there might be a row of docks. You can see lighter places in the lake where darker places where it might get deeper. Also different portions of the lake, especially in a river system, I find is looking for dirtier water versus clear water, and that can change throughout the year, but it can kind of give you an idea if one end of the lake is really clear or one end of the lake is really, really dirty. So that's kind of what I start with that. After I get done with doing a lot of my research off the body of water, when I get to the lake, then I'm going to use more the GPS mapping units. I run mostly Humminbirds on my boat, which will take the LakeMaster cards. And the LakeMaster cards, in my mind, are some of the best out there. They go down to 1 foot depth contours, and they show you just everything, the littlest minute details in a lake you can find using these cards. And basically where I want to start, when I get to the lake, is obviously, like I said, research before, but what time of year is it? Whether it's spring, you're going to be looking a lot shallower, obviously. Deeper, ledge fishing, you might be fishing fish a lot deeper, but just looking for tiny little areas that might hold fish. And pretty much just after that, just get out there. I start scanning. I use my side imaging a lot. It covers a vast expanse of water at once, and I can go looking for weed lines and rock structure, and just look for areas that might hold fish for you that time of year. So another thing I'll do with the side imaging is you can take a big chunk of water at once pretty much and just go. And what I like to do is, instead of really wrapping around and taking a look at stuff multiple times, I like to just use my waypoint marker and mark a weed line, mark a little point in those weeds, mark rock piles, just a point of interest that will possibly hold fish for you in the future. So just to give you guys an example of what I'm doing, basically, I got my side imaging set up, I got my mapping set up. For right now, I'm looking 100 foot off to the left and right. Generally, you don't want to get too far out with that, because stuff will shrink on your screen and get really small. So you kind of want to just pick out, I generally go about 100 foot. That way I got 2 foot of area that I'm looking at once. But like just idling this flat here, it's about 7-8 feet right now, and you can see down here there's 2 cribs. you know, something like that is something that will definitely hold fish and that I want to mark. So I'll take my cursor, my screen will automatically stop. I bring my cursor down, I pop a waypoint there by hitting the mark button. I can press exit then, and my screen will start back up. And you can see on my map here, I got a waypoint right there on that crib that I want to fish. So I can take this thing all the way up as far as I want to go, mark all the little, you know, sweet spots that I really want to fish, and I can come back around then and just fish those type places. And then after I'm done with that, you know, after I cover a big expanse of water, you know, then I'll come back around, maybe look at it a couple more times, fish those areas, you know, see if I can catch a couple fish there. So it's always those small little places that you can't see as much on your big map that are going to hold the most fish. So another thing I'll look for when I'm out, you know, for the first time on a new body of water, I'll look for differences in the shoreline, basically transition areas, you know, whether it goes from a steep hill coming down into the water. You know, a lot of times what you see on the bank, you know, will transition into what is actually under the water. So whether you got a steep shoreline or a real flat shoreline, you can kind of tell where, you know, there might be a flat over there. This might be like a steep kind of bluff bank. And just kind of, you know, just with visually inspecting the lake, you know, you can kind of tell what to expect. So here's a tip for you guys. If you're out scouting a new lake and you're out there for a tournament, doing a lot of pre-fishing out there, I have learned, you know, through my experience that you never really want to dial in a place until, you know, the tournament starts. You know, you really want to dial in a place after the tournament starts, while the tournament's going. You know, you never want to catch too many fish out of a spot. You know, generally my rule of thumb is if I get, you know, I'll stick a couple fish in a spot. Generally I'll stick probably 2 just to check and see what size they are. And then after that, then I'm gonna pretty much, you know, maybe start shaking them off, or, you know, just to kind of see if I can get more bites in the area. And, you know, generally if I'm marking a spot on my GPS, I'll use a lot of the different icons to give me an idea of, okay, this spot really has good potential, or, you know, it's not as good. So I got different icons that'll basically tell me different things. You know, definitely, you know, if I got a red X there, I'm probably going to be going there, you know, pretty quick. So that's just something that I do, that I've developed over the years, that'll, you know, probably help you out. So after you're done with your research, going to the lake, you know, scanning the lake, maybe you found a couple key locations that you want to fish, then you got to pretty much just go fishing after that. You want to basically just cover a lot of water, try to get some bites. You know, you're not going to start with like a drop shot or something like that you can't cover much water with. You want to generally start with something a little bit faster, and that really, you know, comes into play too with the time of year that you're fishing. You know, in the springtime, generally you're going to be using a lot of horizontal type baits, you know, cast and reel type baits. You know, crankbaits work really well, chatter baits, spinner baits, just something that you can cover a ton of water with, and, you know, start picking apart those sections that might hold some fish. So, but after you do that, you know, once you find a school of fish, or, you know, some key places that they're getting on, you know, then you can start slowing down and more picking it apart with, you know, some of the better baits that, you know, might put some more fish in your boat. So I hope these tips were helpful for you guys. When you go to a new lake, give them a try.